At this rate, maybe all of the vlogs that I create on this platform will start with me preparing to go to the gym or at the gym, because this is just something that I actually do. I discovered that the sooner in the day that you do something that sparks joy or that triggers a positive emotion, the sooner your mindset sort of shifts towards making the day more positive, instead of waiting for something outside of yourself to trigger that happy emotion. Realizing that you are in control, that you can actually decide how your day goes based on the triggers that you choose to expose yourself to at the beginning of the day. So I do this when I move my body. I feel so much better. Endorphins are running. So I guess in the same breath, I will take this opportunity to ask you, are you aware of your own positive triggers? I'm sure you know when things trigger you in a bad way or make you feel somehow, but do you know your happiness triggers, and do you actively seek them out as often as you can? The weather on this particular day was one of my favorites, but not really great for going to the office because of traffic. It was raining, but I really love this weather. And in winter, I generally have this cloak and dagger situation going on. Oh gosh, yeah, because it's cold and you just want to feel covered up, and you're out and it's usually a bit dark and no one's really outside. But I really love this weather. I found it so calming. Once a week, I work out with my trainer, which is good. It pushes me to lengths that I never thought I'd get to, and I'm already seeing the transformation in my body. So once gym is done, I head home, and gym usually takes about an hour if I'm with my trainer, but if I'm alone, it can go a bit longer because I'm working at my own pace, and depending on how much time I have left or how much time I've assigned to the gym, I can go more than an hour. So I have spoken about romanticizing my boring life in a way that calms my nervous system, and one of those ways is through scent. So I like to light a candle at home when I'm doing mundane things. It adds to the ambience, it adds to me romanticizing my life, and it's something that I started during COVID. I think the world was in a weird place, and so I found ways to focus on happy triggers and not things that triggered me negatively. I think in general, society just focuses on, oh yeah, this person triggered me, or the way that they did this triggered me, and all of that. I have decided to focus on the happy triggers, to know what my triggers are, and one of those is scent. And creating these little pockets of happiness in my life, even when going to the office. And so even this part where I'm preparing my face after putting sunscreen and applying makeup, it's also something that I've managed to romanticize, because I'm not just doing makeup. I'm affirming myself, which is a lot easier actually after the gym, because endorphins are pumping. I'm already in a good mood. And so I'm just telling myself wonderful things about myself. And it actually works. I've seen the change in my mental state and how I show up in the world. If you are a reader, please get your hands on Psycho-Cybernetics. It speaks about how our self-image is the lens in which we experience life and our relationships, how you see yourself. And yeah, you can actually hack your brain, and that's part of my morning affirmations. So I really love getting ready for work. I don't do too much. It's literally very quick. It's just foundation, mascara, eyeliner. Sometimes if I'm feeling a bit fluffy, I'll wear some blush. But yeah, that's it for me. Oh, and I have to moisturize my lips, of course. But it's a basic look. I like to keep it very neutral and simple when I go to the office. I start my day off with tea, even after the gym. And I add some ginger, something to do with like my metabolism. It helps a lot. And so I add some ginger to my tea, or cinnamon sometimes. And that's the first thing that I take that is warm, besides the water that I have obviously at the gym. And I make my way to the office. I love to listen to some nice music when I'm on the way to the office, it's easy when you're in a good mood. It just sets the tone for the day, regardless of what life throws at you. If you start off at 100, no matter what happens, you will land at maybe a 50 or maybe a 40, but you'll hardly get to a 0, at least with the way that I have started living my life and the routine I've created for myself. Like I said, the weather was really hectic for an office day. I like this weather. I love this weather, especially when I'm at home. Then I can light my candles, play my jazz and work. But today, for an office day, it was just hectic. Like I said, I like to start my day drinking tea. I feel like it's a way to cleanse the system and restart and wake up my system without actually giving it food to process. And then I only start eating much later on in the day. And I generally carry yogurt as well, like I do at home. I start the day with yogurt to give my system probiotics that actually then do the digestive work. This was my outfit for the day. I like to cover up when I'm at the office for some reason. Well, not for some reason. I think it's because I was harassed early on in my career, and it was weird at that time because there were not as many women who work in tech, at least at the companies that I was at. And so men would just say some of these random things which were inappropriate, and it made me feel like I needed to cover up more. I don't know if I have gotten over that, but I feel like when I cover up more, if anyone then says something funny to me at work, I know they're coming at me sideways. But I just feel safer. I guess maybe that's something I need to work through. But I like to cover up at work. I guess it keeps the focus on what my work and not my femininity, if I can put it that way. Not that I am shy of it, but it's something that I decided at the beginning of my career, and maybe I need to work around that. I don't know. But it's now how my brain is wired. I do dress in more freeing ways when I am outside of the office. But at work, I like to keep it professional. I like to keep the focus on my mind and the work that I actually do.
Picasso's father was a mediocre artist at best. No, this isn't like breeding horses or showdown. Evidence abounds that the conditioned, programmed, nurtured, and directed self-image controls success, not a genetic transfer over which you have no control. You cannot select your parents. You can select your self-image with psychocybernetics.
I just arrived. I need to get a basket for a gift for a friend and a few things for my business. So I'm at the suppliers. I used a different route. Usually I like to use the highway when I'm going to and from the office, but today going to the office, the weather was bad, and so Waze gave me a route that avoided the highway. So now I'm going home. I didn't check what Waze was saying because I needed to pass by here. So yeah, let's go. think one of the things I would like to say is that it sounds so nice saying that, oh, I run a business, or this is what I'm doing. But it's not glamorous at all, like the actual execution of it, especially in the beginning phases of it, depending on what your starting point is. A lot of people start off their businesses with quite a bit of capital, and that way they can afford help and have like people that they hire for certain things. In my case, I get help from people, family members and my loved ones, who assist with different tasks, but ultimately the mental load of running the business is on me. The fact that I had to plan my day in such a way that I have to consider that, okay, I have this order that is coming up that I need to prepare for this client, and this date needs to happen, and I need to do it by this time in such a way that it doesn't put pressure on me while I'm also showing up actively and 100% at my 9 to 5, is something that a lot of people don't talk about, that is not very glamorous. And some of the places that you go to, you also have to consider your outfit, how you look, so that you don't attract unnecessary attention depending on where the location is. Where I was going for this stuff, it's a pretty safe place. It's a place where I get most of my packaging, or some of my packaging, especially urgent packaging. And I'm looking at expanding the range. I'll talk about my business on another day actually. But I got something that I will do a separate video for, and it will also be a demo for a client. So that's also another thing. Like, even as I'm doing random things in my personal life, sometimes an idea will come up like that okay, I could integrate this into the business like this. And so in this case, it's actually a gift for a friend, and she has been one of my very loyal customers and very faithful customers from the time that I started, when the brand itself looked very whack, for lack of a better word. She was very supportive, and I know which fragrances from the Sinners and Saints range that she likes. And so in the gift, I'm going to include something Sinners and Saints for her, but that will be a separate video. Anyway, let me go home. I will most probably be in traffic, but I need to prepare an order tonight for Wednesday. That is going out on Wednesday. Yeah.
Not the least of which were authoritative sources, such as Tiger's father or Michael's college coach, Dean Smith. And for every Jordan, I can point my finger to an athlete of admittedly average physical talent who rises to the very top of his sport. Fran Tarkenton or Doug Flutie, both erroneously judged by the experts as too small to play the game, are examples. Do not tolerate for a minute the idea that you are prohibited from any achievement by the absence of inborn talent or ability.
Yeah, so technically at this point, my day is actually done, hey? I'm going to go home. I'm on my way home, actually. In a bit of traffic, I listened to audiobooks, and it actually got dark while I was still on my way home. That's how bad Johannesburg traffic can be sometimes. But the good thing is I don't feel so frustrated because I'm listening to music or an audiobook, so I'm learning, I'm internalizing things. I'm also giving Siri instructions reminders on things that I need to do. I'm making notes for something that may come to mind for work. But that's how my day generally goes. I tend not to cook on days that I go to the office. I just don't have the emotional, physical, or mental bandwidth to do that. So I would have usually packed something days before that I then have to warm up in the microwave and eat. And I like to sort of rest and not have too many commitments that involve other people after work, because I know how I am, and I have really taken the idea of taking care of myself very, very seriously, because I know when I am okay, then I show up differently and I show up better in the world. Like I said, my 9 to 5 is quite intense. I work in tech and I love that. And also just running a business, even though it's small, is also intense in its own way. So I really have to protect my sanity. Yeah. So when I get home, things that are not being washed, I sort of have to sanitize. I sanitize them. I don't have to, but it's something that I do. Don't know what I interacted with throughout the day. before I add that to my wardrobe, and I let the sanitizer sort of dry. And then when it's dry, then I put it back in. And yeah, that's it basically. That's how my day looks like on days that I go to the office. I'm going to light a candle, shower, rest, maybe watch some comedy, and call it a night. And then tomorrow is another day.